Ugh. We're talking about Trump and Biden. All right. So, welcome to the man cave. It is November 1st. No, it's not. We're releasing this November 2nd.
Yes, we are.
This is pre-election. We're gonna talk about Trump versus Biden. We're gonna see, who might win. Like it's up in the air right now. I mean, we're looking at all these pre-election data. It looks like Biden might be in the lead by a tad bit. But we have a couple of Trump supporters here.
No, we talk about.
What do y'all think, man? Like who is
the issue? You picking between two evils, man.
Are we?
Are we though? Are we?
Are we?
Listen. It's one thing if you want to vote because you don't like Trump or you don't like his policies and stuff like that. That's great. It's another thing to vote because of hatred and you only want to vote him out. I say in that case, I don't recommend voting for the simple fact of like if you don't know what the other candidate is actually going for, or if you don't know any of the policies, then don't vote just because you're a Democrat. That's my suggestion. I specifically vote based on what I've seen and based on what I see in the future as for policies that already passed and policies that are going to be taking place. I don't make my decision based on emotional, based on emotions. That's my thing. I think that's a smart way to do it, especially if you don't know how some of the policies that the other that the other candidate is, putting in place that it could affect you. And if you don't know any about those policies, then why the fuck are you even voting? Honestly, you know what I mean?
Most people are just voting because they hate Trump for no reason,
and that's the wrong way to do it.
Do not follow the mainstream media narrative.
Well, no, it's not even that. So let's just say let's just say I'm Joe Smo and I really despise Trump and I hate Trump and I want to vote him out. Meanwhile, little do I know that all of the policies of the other candidate are even worse than what I have now. Do I really want to vote that in? Chances are probably not. But if I knew about the policies, I'll make an educated decision on if I'm going to vote or not. The problem is that some people are not educated in the policies and they still vote anyways. That's the worst part.
Give me your top 3 reasons why you would vote for Trump versus Biden. Like, so what are some of the policies? You talking taxes? What are we talking about?
Taxes is one. Number 2 is jobs in the USA. It brings manufacturing back. And 3 is energy sufficient. We, for the first time in over 100 years, we are self-dependent when it comes to energy. He's brought that back to the US.
I'm with you on that, but I'm voting Trump. But there's only one thing I'll criticize Trump's policy, where he's not trying to expand on renewables. That's my only issue I have with his policies, is the fact that he doesn't want to. There's the issue. He says renewables are not there yet. But the only way renewables will make it there once the U.S. makes a big investment on it. That would lead the technology forward. So that's my only issue with Trump's policy. The oil, I agree. You have to reproduce oil, but fracking is not the way to do it, man. Because fracking does create earthquakes. Let's be real. Oklahoma shakes like crazy because of fracking. But renewables is where it's at, and his tax policy. I'm with his tax policy.
But
Biden just wants to increase everything.
But let's focus on something that is going to affect the masses, right? So fracking might not affect the masses in some level, right? The ordinary small, Joe Smo is not going to give a shit about that. Let's be honest, right? They give a fuck about taxes, right? So the taxes plan that Joe Biden has is to tax the shit out of people that make over $400,000, right? Meanwhile, they don't understand. The rich or the wealthy, they don't pay taxes. Why? Because they find loopholes. And guess who's going to be charged for that taxes after the rich and the wealthy do not pay for that? You, the viewer. You are the one that's going to get taxed with that, right? So if you don't understand that, that after, people here that make 400,000 and plus, people out there that make 400,000 and plus, the millionaires and the billionaires, after they don't pay the taxes, who you think is going to go down to? To you.
Check this out.
If
they can't write it off, bro, this is going to happen. You're going to increase the tax on the rich. If they're not able to write it off, most of the time, the rich is the one that's running these businesses and stuff.
Correct.
Selling the goods. What they're going to do, they're going to push it back on the consumer. they're going to increase the cost of goods.
Yep.
Rich people don't care if something gets a little bit more expensive because they can afford it. But the middle and poor class, they're going to get hit with that hidden tax.
Yep.
It's going to be a hidden tax. It's going to be a cost of your goods.
So I agree, because a lot of people are kind of ignorant towards like why would anyone vote for Trump versus Biden. And when you take a look at some of like the policies that they're pushing, you're right, Biden is increasing taxes, even though the taxes are not within the average person's tax bracket, like you mentioned, 400K and up.
It would reach
it still affects us because it is a ripple effect. If certain people are getting taxed a certain amount and those people are business owners, they will shift that tax over to whatever they're selling, So now all of a sudden, instead of $14 for whatever sandwich you just bought, it's $15. It's a ripple effect that people really don't understand, like about economics. If you increase the taxes on a certain bracket, especially the high bracket, like it's going to affect you in another way. You just don't see it. It probably won't be immediate, but you will be affected.
Yeah, and I'm with Trump. I'm with Trump about the minimum wage. It should be handled by a state level, but he should also, let's say a state does increase them to $15 or whatever they're saying. The federal government should give them a benefit for doing it.
Yeah,
kickback for doing it.
Because what's going to happen is, you can increase taxes all you want, but the higher the taxes are going to be, especially for corporations, that's no incentive to them. So, I mean, they're just going to, outsource the work somewhere else. That's what people don't understand. Lower taxes is a good thing. If you put higher taxes on the individual and corporations, all that's going to do is force the jobs elsewhere. And you don't want the jobs to go elsewhere. You want the jobs to stay here in the U.S. And the only way to do that is to keep tax-efficient companies here in the U.S. Otherwise, they're gonna go to China. What do you think the iPhones get? What do you think Apple does more of the manufacture? It's in China. I don't care if they come without a charger to be more efficient. Should still be made outsourced over there in China. They can't bring it to the US right now.
Read the label. It says assembled in the US.
Oh my God, assembled. Okay, good luck with that. Manufactured in China, FYI.
So okay. So we got taxes. I mean, I just think people don't educate themselves enough to like go into a voting booth and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for this person because this person is gonna do this for me. Most of the time it's like, this person is the same skin color as me, so I'm gonna vote for them. Or this person seems like a fucking racist, so I'm gonna vote for the other guy. And I'm gonna be like, until Trump started running for president, like no one even thought he was racist. Like, it's crazy. Like all of a sudden, when he started running for president, he became racist. What happened to the 60 years that he lived before that? I mean, you got rappers rapping about being Donald Trump. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It sounds like some BS to me. But
you can thank the media for that.
It sounds like a narrative. It sounds like a population trying to control another population.
I don't agree with some of the things he's done, like putting children in cages,
which were by the previous president.
About that, I'm gonna say it started in Obama area, but he's still fucked up for continuing it.
Well, so
let's clarify that. Let's clarify that.
But listen, right? Even if it did start with Obama, which I do blame Obama for even starting the fucking shit to begin with, but to Obama's point, right? If a parent does something illegal and they have a child, and they arrest a parent, technically speaking, where are you going to put those children?
Foster care, not in cages, though.
I understand that. Okay, that's a good solution.
I can't defend Trump on this.
But there's just so many of them. I don't think they're going to go to foster care, right? So that was supposed to meant for temporary holdings. Now, is it taking longer to maybe find their families? Yes, that's that might be a thing. So I think the process is a little fucked up. But I do believe that they have to be kept somewhere. I think in some cases the images might be blown out of proportion where they're, living like savages and stuff like that. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're being abused like the media makes it out to be. And if that was the case, I think we'll hear more about it. But that's
the only thing I can say, bro, is It started in Obama area. I'm not gonna defend Trump for continuing this. It's fucked up.
I
clarify to our viewers.
I agree.
It started in Obama era.
Correct, but I agree with that. I do think the process is not correct, so I think it has to shift. Whether that's put them in foster care or dedicate an entire task force to finding their families after they get detained. One or the other, but the actual problem has to be resolved.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow for any Trump supporter when you see images like that. But like you said, it kind of started with the Obama administration and probably even earlier than that. Probably during like the Bush administration when 9/11 happened, he was putting up bans from all types of countries. So, and we really don't know what was going on in the background. So, but you know, so we got taxes, we got the immigration issues. Let's talk about this moratorium, though.
I think we should tackle the immigration real quick. I think we should.
The immigration thing. All right, the wall, gravy. I don't think it's gonna work 100%. Like they think it's gonna work because
it's not gonna work 100%.
These cartels already have tunnels.
It's a good start.
They don't walk through the wall or through the alley. They make tunnels in to bring drugs. Let's get that out there. They tunnel the way in.
But let's get something out of the way very, very clear right now. I think illegal immigration should not be allowed. No. I don't care how you want to put it. I don't care how you want to splice it. Someone should not be coming into this country illegally. And I don't understand how people think that's such a bad thing. I have family members that are legally waiting in line to get here, and they have over 11 years waiting in line. Now, is the process fucked up? 100%. But that doesn't give anybody else a right to break the law, come in here, whether you're Mexican, Asian, I don't care from where you are, doesn't make it right for you to come here illegally and then have us pay for your shit. That's what it comes down to. You could call that racist if you want, but it's not racist if it goes against everybody. Everybody has the same opportunity to come in here legally, but yet they choose to come here illegally, and that's what I'm calling.
Jose, you don't count. You're Puerto Rican.
Wait. I've been called to have white privilege. Yeah, I'm fucking.
I don't. It's an artificial construct of the mind, like setting up borders and saying that certain people can't go into certain countries. I don't think borders on any country should exist. I don't know. Humans should. I know they do. Yeah, that's. I'm just personally. I think like this whole humans should just be free to roam whatever land that they want to go to.
But the only problem is when you have taxes in that land and you're paying for taxes. Now, if somebody comes here illegally and then your taxes are to go to them into some way, whether that's healthcare, housing, or whatever the case is.
In Massachusetts, we're a democratic state, and illegal immigrants do get health insurance, housing, and coupons.
And who do you think pays for that, Jose?
And when they work, this is the issue. There should be a better way of getting them job visas. That way, when they work, they can actually pay taxes. But they don't. Yeah. When they work under the table.
Now I do. Yeah. I mean,
and then companies that do give them work are messed up, bro. They shouldn't. Once it's against the law.
Yeah. So I believe that anybody that hires illegal immigrants, should get fined. Whether that's Trump, whether that's anybody that hires illegal immigrants, they should get fined because it's illegal to have them here anyways. And to have that over their head, saying like, okay, if you don't do the work, I'm gonna call deportation on you. That's not cool either. So I don't agree with that.
But the dreamers should get their visas.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. They came here as kids.
Listen, I think the process is flawed, and I think the process should get better. I don't think you should wait 10 to 15 years to get a visa to come in here. But I do think it needs to improve. But I also don't believe that you should come here illegally if there's a process in place. Especially, and I'm speaking based on experience. I have family members that are still waiting to get a visa or a temporary pass just to come here to visit. That's incorrect. They have well over 10 years. So I feel a certain type of way when you have illegal immigrants from anywhere and in this world coming in here illegally and making something out of themselves. Meanwhile, my family members is still just there waiting, doing the legal thing.
Look, I am for illegal immigration as long as those people who are immigrating illegally, are here to contribute. Like if you're coming here to start a brand new life, to give your kids something better, and there was really no other way, yo, break those fucking laws, man. These laws are arbitrary. They're not real beyond our own minds. So just break them. If it means giving a better life to your kids, I say, yo, just do what you got to do.
I would love that to be the case. But I still don't think it's fair to some degree. This is the reason why. Mexico is attached to the U.S. They can easily cross the border and call it a day. DR, not so much. You have to take a plane to get here. So they don't even have the opportunity to do that.
Well, they can go to Mexico and cross.
I mean, now you're telling them how to get here legally.
I mean, it's not rocket science.
No, all right. So what should be okay? So a better question is, what should be the penalty if you're doing something illegal and if you get caught?
Okay.
Because if it's jail time, I wouldn't recommend that.
No, not jail time. You get deported, but then you can't apply for a visa or none of the shit to get back here legally for 10 years minimum.
Oh, I mean,
you have to. Yeah, but you can't. If you give them jail time, you can't. What you can just put somebody in jail.
I think if a person is found out to be illegal and they were found out in a way where it was like not during some illegal activity. Let's say the ICE goes into a restaurant and finds a bunch of illegal immigrants behind the counter, and they've been there for 10 years. They're living in that community for 10 years, paying taxes or whatever like that.
They don't pay taxes.
I would just give them I'd be like, you know what? You guys been here for 10 years. You haven't made a single peep. You haven't really broken any laws.
You've been contributing. Yes.
I'd be like, you know what? So make them citizens. Fuck it.
So this is what I think. I think if you want to become a resident, right? So like a permanent resident, then yeah, there should be a process and things like that. After background checks and all that. But if you want to visit the country, you shouldn't have to wait 10 years. That's my biggest issue. To visit the country, you shouldn't have to wait 10 years just to visit the country. Now, if you want to become a resident, that's a different story.
All right, let's not dwell on immigration for too long.
Yeah. So what's next on the
moratorium?
The moratorium. The CDC pushed out a ban on evictions until the end of the year. How do you think any president could handle that sort of situation?
Let me say something. All right, because I've been at war with the Massachusetts moratorium for the past 6 months. Obviously, you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys will notice this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen it.
The CDC moratorium actually makes more sense than the Massachusetts moratorium. And I say this is why. If they want to say because of public health risk, right? The Massachusetts moratorium, for your viewers, if you guys are not from Mass, landlord cannot even send a letter of eviction. Can't even see a judge for a non-pay. So what that creates, this is what happens with creates. I have around 6 tenants that I'm evicted. 5 of them are non-pays. 5 of them are not being affected by COVID. They're not COVID related. They're still working. All right? You understand this shit. But what happens is, since I'm not able to see a judge, I can't force them to show that they're affected by COVID.
Boom.
Right? So, this is the issue. At least the federal version of the moratorium allows you to see a judge. The only thing that you cannot do right now is execution of eviction. But you can go see a judge.
Yeah.
And the tenant will have to provide proof that they are affected by COVID. If they are, good.
Yeah.
They're not good, but you work it out. If they aren't, then you get these people that are trying to use the system. They get in trouble. They get a fine or whatever they're gonna do to them. But you can't have this shit that you can't even see a judge, bro. People have to be accountable. And I can say this for all my tenants. The tenants that were affected by COVID actually made payment plans with us. Actually communicate.
It's really the way that works, because the tenants that I have that have been affected by it, they're the ones that actually paying on time and actually worried about paying the rent. Meanwhile, you have other tenants that are not affected by it and they're trying to use the system just to collect money and not even pay rent.
We have one tenant called man. I'm not paying because Governor Baker says I don't have to pay rent.
Yeah, that legit. That's exactly what.
Legit, exact word.
That shouldn't give anybody the right to live for free. Meanwhile, you got landlords that the banks don't give a shit. You still got to make the payments, bro.
Your water bill still comes every month. Maintenance is up.
I think whoever wins this election, right? Because we all know there's still a package, right? A CARES package, CARES 2 or HEROES Act 2 package. So I think whatever is incorporated into that will alleviate some of these evictions. $1,200 doesn't sound like a lot, but average around the nation, I think they'd be able to alleviate.
I don't think the package is the end all be all, because again, like Carlos's point, what's happening is that you have some people that get the package and they still decide not to pay rent because of what Governor Bacon put into place.
All right. So the way they did in Massachusetts now is they put funding for $171 million. They lifted the moratorium because Judge Wolf said, "Hey, bro, if you continue this moratorium, you're breaking the Constitution." He gave him a warning to the governor. So they lifted the moratorium after what they did. They took $171 million in funding for the RAF program, which is our housing program. If a tenant goes to get eviction, the RAF program will cover up to $10,000 in back rent.
Yeah.
Per tenant. So that's what you do. You bring funding to get these people help. But then also what you do is you can't just be, here's funding for the people who weren't affected. No, they have to get a slap in the hand. They have to get evicted. I'm sorry. If you're using the system and not paying because you don't want to pay,
if you're getting it out. Correct. If you're getting a package which is allowing you to make rent payments and you decide not to,
and what I'm doing for my tenants that were not affected, that were trying to use the system, normally when I evict them, I'm fine. I don't go after the past rent. For the tenants that were abusing the system, I'm actually suing them for the past rent this time. I'm not letting it slide. I'm going after them.
Okay. Obviously, the next president is going to have to deal with a wave of evictions next year, January 1st.
It's handled at a state level.
I know. It's a state level, yeah, but it's such a massive... It's such a massive issue that the president will have to step in.
Everyone focused so much on the president, but the laws and everything that affects you as a person directly is done at the state level.
Listen, last time I checked, coronavirus happened because of Trump. All right.
Right, but the thing is, right? We're talking. The president does have to step in because not only are tenants being affected, but landlords are being affected because they're not able to make mortgages, and some mortgage lenders could be taking these people to court.
But listen, take away these homes. A serious question. This goes to both of you. Do you? And I know it's gonna sound stupid, but do you guys really, really believe that Biden can actually do that? Like,
do you think Trump can do it?
He has been doing it. He gave the stimulus. It was his idea to give the stimulus check. He gave an interview on 60 Minutes that he's basically said he's waiting for Nancy Pelosi to push the stimulus check, and she doesn't want to until after the election.
But it really wasn't him. Biden can just do the same thing. All you got to do is sign it.
My question is, is he even going to be awake to do that? Like, I'm sorry, man. I have zero faith in this guy. Zero. And not even because I support Trump, because I didn't vote for Trump the first time. I voted for Obama the second time. I didn't vote anything else, right? So it's not like I'm leaning Republican or Democrat. It's just I cannot trust Biden, bro. Like, it's hard for me to explain it, but if you ever seen somebody so incompetent to even, you know what? Forget it.
All right. Forget it. So this is what I'm gonna say, bro. This is what I'm gonna say, bro, about this. The eviction moratorium is a major U.S. issue.
Yeah.
There has to be funding, but there is a backlash when it comes to funding. The government can't just go and print money like crazy because you create inflation. And then what happens is everything goes up. So you can't just say, "Oh, we're gonna print money. That's gonna be a solution to everything." No, it's not. It has to be handled at a state level. Also, the moratorium makes sense because you can't just walk into Walmart, grab groceries, and bounce. That's what happens when you live in a house and you're not paying rent. The landlord has to pay his mortgage. Property taxes didn't go away during the pandemic. Water bills, that's tripled at least in my
nothing went away during the pandemic for landlords.
And all my maintenance requests have tripled. So
actually, no, yeah. So that's a good point. Imagine, which it's happened to us multiple times. Imagine a tenant decides not to pay rent on purpose. Yet that tenant is constantly putting maintenance requests that you have to personally go fix. Otherwise, you get in trouble. Isn't that a bitch? Right?
Let that sink in.
Right? Let that sink in. A tenant purposely decides not to pay rent, yet his stove broke, his fridge broke, and all these other things that you as a landlord are required by law to fix. Doesn't that suck?
And trash removal. And now we're in the winter months, so snow removal now.
This is the thing that people do not understand because remember, some people are not landlords and they don't tend to see.
This is what people don't understand, bro. At least in Massachusetts, if you own a 5-family building, you're making a landlord, if everything is correct, you're making about $100 to $150 to $200 per unit in cash flow. And that's after you're making around $5,000 a month in rent.
I mean that number varies. But yeah.
The number varies. Yeah. But your expenses eat up, let's say, easily 70% of all the rents coming in, 70% goes to expenses.
Now imagine 20% of that 70 is from a tenant that's not paying rent.
It only takes one eviction to eat up your cash flow for 3 months. Or more.
I mean, so yeah, it's going to be a tough. It's going to be tough, right?
And then you have people who don't have W-2s. Right. We have people who don't have W-2s. Like me and Carlos, we work. You work too, Jose. We at least are fortunate we have W-2s to back us up in case our real estate doesn't pay. But there's people who actually their business is their real estate. That's their livelihood.
Well, that's my livelihood in about 6 months.
So just think about that.
So I mean, Trump, if he wins, is definitely going to be a lot on his plate and a lot of expectations for him to deliver on some sort of package. I mean, obviously the Democrats and the Republicans are hashing it out, but I don't think he's doing enough to really like force them to get this out as soon as possible. That's what I think.
Last tweet he said to Pelosi was, "Hey, go big or don't go at all."
That's a tweet. That don't mean shit to me.
Go
fucking knock on her door. Knock on her door.
Pelosi said that she's not going to write anything because she doesn't want to put the president's name on it.
Yeah.
Her words.
Yeah.
Anyways, about that. And
also, I don't think we'll see anything until after election because obviously it's 2 days away. But regardless, it has been, that has been the hallmark is nothing is going to get signed until the president is elected on both sides. Yeah. That's what it is. So knowing that, do you believe that Biden will actually stay president for long?
Another thing, Jose.
He gets elected?
Okay, another thing, Jose. Before July, when the pandemic started at its hardest, which was around March. So from March to around July, August, people were making unemployment, correct?
Yep.
Plus an extra $600 a week.
Yep.
And so that's how much a month extra you get?
It depends. It depends on how much you were making. It depends. It depends on how much you were collecting from unemployment.
But most people were making more money on unemployment than their regular salary.
That's inaccurate.
Okay, a good amount. We don't have a specific number on that, so a good amount.
Wait. You're telling me your state level unemployment, which is normally around 80%, plus an extra 600 for
60%.
60? Okay.
60.
Plus an extra $600.
Yeah, but 60%.
From the federal. You're telling me you couldn't cover your expenses?
I just know that there was 2 tenants, right? That that I personally had. They were doing Uber for most of the year, and they were banking, right? They were banking, but now they specifically told me, "Oh, I'm not gonna go work," and I just said, "Why?" He's like, "Well, because if I work, I can't collect." Like you have people that actually decide not to work on purpose because the stimulus check was so good.
One of my contractors.
Correct.
I work with one of my contractors I work with. He couldn't get his people to work for him.
Yep.
Because they wouldn't work because they were making their unemployment.
Yep. Plus more.
Even though we had projects available and ready to go.
Yep.
Because even though we had this
they specifically said Listen, they specifically said I cannot go work because otherwise I cannot collect.
Correct.
What the fuck?
I mean, it sounds legit. I mean, between the two of you, you probably know at least like 50 people, but we're talking about 400 million people in the United States.
I can say, I've been physically going to work during the whole pandemic.
That sucks.
Yeah, for real.
So for the people saying these people are probably working from home. Nah, bro. I go to work personally to the courthouses every day, personally.
Okay.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. But again, someone has to claim victory at 12 p.m. tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow? No, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's Trump or whether or not it's Biden, I mean, we just have to check and see.
Or Kanye.
We'll have a reaction video to whoever gets elected.
Or Kanye.
And to you watching so you watching right now, we will be having most likely like 90%. It doesn't matter. A pretty good chance we're gonna be live for the election night. We haven't decided yet, but that's in the
someone's gonna be live.
Huh?
Someone's gonna be live from the crew.
Yeah. One of us here will be live.
Yes.
I don't know. We'll see.
Apparently, there's only 3 of us today.
But the last thing I want to talk about, which I don't know if we really covered it. What? So, I mean, people were saying that Trump is racist and stuff, and I feel like maybe a portion of this election is driven by race.
Yep.
But after Biden gets elected, is racism gonna go away?
Who passed away? Who passed
it is, bro.
Wait, let me say something.
It's election year, bro. It happens every 4 years. Hold on, Carlos. I'm sorry. All these issues that are somewhat a big issue right now, they tend to go away after the president gets elected. It happens every single 4 years, man.
And unfortunately, we came out of a pandemic year. There's a pandemic year.
Not to downplay.
This is the issue.
Not to downplay Black Lives Matter, not to downplay racism, not to downplay, what gays, whatever you want to call it. I'm not downplaying that. What I am saying is that they are overplayed and overhyped tremendously right now because it's election year. After the president gets elected, whoever that might be, watch it just all slow down. I'm calling him right now.
Let me say something real quick, bro. So, BLM started around 2011, 2013, around that time period.
Yep.
Where Obama was in office. Correct. The only difference between them and now, they able to riot more now. Why? Because they're not working. Let's be real. You're in the middle of a pandemic.
That's a very simple solution.
No, you're in the middle of a pandemic.
You're going to trigger a lot of people.
He just said everybody's out protesting because everybody's fucking bored, yo.
You're going to trigger a lot of people because of that. Like, you think we're protesting?
He said it
don't got work.
It is what it is, bro.
If we had work, we wouldn't be protesting.
Okay.
I mean, you'll be too busy to go protest, right?
You really think? Have you noticed that there's a million evictions, tenants protesting about the moratorium, but you can barely see landlords out there? Why? Because landlords are too busy working.
That's a good point, though. That's a good point.
I don't know about that, but
you're definitely stretching. You're definitely stretching with that one.
I am stretching, but but what I'm trying to say is, it's hit harder now because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
it's hitting now because a lot of business closed. They're protesting. All right, police brutality is fucked up, and police has to be reformed. But remember, that's handled. Police is handled at a county level, not even a state level. It's county.
To Jose's point, Trump has never been such a big racist like he is this year, apparently. So everything is getting blown out of proportion because they want this man out of here.
Have you noticed that all the riots are in Democratic states?
What?
All the riots are in Democratic-run states?
Bro, I've been saying this since the beginning of the fucking riots, but I don't know what to tell you, man.
The thing about this whole racism stuff, yes, racism exists in every country. Every country has racism.
Yep.
It's I don't know, man. It's tough for me to say there's systemic racism right now. I think maybe back in the 1920s and 1950s and stuff, there was systemic racism because of redlining and stuff like that. But currently, as it stands right now, I don't see any law, promoting racism.
Wait, there is.
There is?
It doesn't promote racism, but it does it on the law. So the minimum sentencing law. The minimum sentencing law. The minimum sentencing law. So if you get caught with weed, you get what? The minimum sentence for 10 years. Those laws actually do affect minorities more than white people.
It's funny you mentioned that because Wait, because guess what happens if Biden wins? Who's the vice president? Is it Harris? She has a record for sending black people to prison. Oh
No,
shit!
for real, she's evil.
Oh,
She actually withhold information that would release somebody on death row.
Of course, but people are too ignorant to understand who they're voting for.
So, there are laws that were pointed more at minorities than white people. Let's be real.
Yeah,
we can't be real. There have been judges that have been pointing, but that have been more tougher on minorities than white people. We can't hold it with a blind eye. It's a fact.
Yeah, I would agree.
And redlining still affects us to this day.
Right. But so redlining has been outlawed.
Correct.
Yes, but this whole minimum sentencing, but the minimum sentencing, yes, that is a tool that racists use to basically fuck over minorities. But correct. Is it a racist law? No. You can take any law and put it to your advantage correct. As a racist. There are racist people, but I don't think there are racist laws.
Correct. There's not a racist law.
This is the issue. So, this is the issue. Most of the
what is the issue?
Most of the prisons have minorities, right? And right now, prisons is a business.
Yeah.
So what happens when the prison is a private prison?
With the law, though, it has to do with the individual running the prison.
Correct. But who's in the prison?
What do you mean?
It's mostly minorities.
No, I understand that, but to Jose's point, the law itself is not racist.
No, the law is not, but it was written. It was written to suppress minorities.
Oh, yeah, but right now, I mean, I could go to prison. You could go to prison. It's still minority, right?
Yeah, but there's a difference. This is the issue with this country, and I can't believe I'm gonna say it. This is the issue with capitalism. There's certain things.
He's like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
There's certain things that cannot be privatized, including prisons, police shouldn't be privatized either. Yeah, and for y'all folks out there is private prisons.
Yeah, I mean,
they make a minimum order for how many people have in there.
There's been a documentary about this where a judge went to prison because he was sending, kids of all kinds, even white, basically to prison that had a contract. The more people I sent to prison, the more I get, more kickbacks I get. So yeah, right. I understand. Again, to Jose's point, it's not a racist law. It's a racist person that's taking advantage of the law and putting it in their favor.
Yes. If there was less racist judges, if we had judges that were less racist, they wouldn't mandate like these minimum sentencing. They would do whatever the fuck they want. They'd be like,
the judge. That's the issue. It wasn't the judge. It is the law. There's a minimum written by legislators. Remember.
You know what? We're gonna have to look at the law linking down below because haven't heard about it before.
The judge can't just say, "Oh, you're getting 5 years." That's why it's called minimum sentence. It was passed by the legislation branch. The judge has to uphold it until it gets sued out of law.
Yes, but again, that could go to anybody being criminalized.
Yeah.
So the law itself is not racist.
Okay, but police officers, not all of them, because like I said, not all of them. They're not all rapists.
Go ahead.
Police officers. You do have these bad police officers. It's probably 10% of the force. That would go after minorities.
First of all, how the fuck you come up with that number?
Yeah.
Where you ask for that?
Out of your ass.
In this podcast, we go by facts, bro. All right? Truth over facts. All right? Understand that.
10%, bro.
It'll probably be 10% of the whole force. You have some racist cops. Let's be real. You have some racist cops. Yeah. It's fucked up that their colleagues don't call them out. Yeah, but you do have some racist cops, and their colleagues should be also liable for not calling them out. But
all I know is that to people that think out there that Trump is a racist, I've seen a lot of Biden supporters. And the way I kind of describe someone is basically saying like this: Trump is a racist, but Biden is my racist. Because Biden is 100% fucking racist. I mean, if you've seen some of the clips that he has on YouTube, it is crazy. If you vote for Biden because you think Trump is racist, do your homework.
You seen the wall one? He was telling these people, no, because we're going to build a 700-mile wall to keep these people out, these drug addicts, these rapists. Yeah, Biden, yeah.
Again,
Biden wrote that shit.
Again,
there's another one, 1993 law, the crime bill. Written by Biden.
But listen, to Jose's point, and I will say it again, Trump has never been more racist than he has been this year. Why? It's election year, bro. And I'm going to stick to it. And I guarantee you, whoever wins, racism, unfortunately, it is a real thing, but it will die down after this year for another 3 years.
It'll happen again.
That's just what it is.
Actually, it won't happen again because it's his last term. If he wins, it's his last term.
Yeah, but you know how it is, man.
And then with Biden won't last his whole. Unfortunately, Congress will remove him of Article 25 because he won't be medically capacitated to run the whole presidency.
And who you think is going to take over? Harris. Yes, Harris. The person that has a fucking record for sending black people to prison. Let that sink in.
And withholding information on people on death row.
Yep. Now, with that being said, let's see who gets elected, on Tuesday, and we'll go from there.
But I voted for Kanye.
Yeah, y'all want to? I'm gonna say Biden's gonna win. What do y'all think?
He's gonna win the popular vote, but I think he's gonna lose the electoral college.
If Biden wins, do you think Trump is gonna accept it?
My CPA said that Biden wins, we're screwed.
Same here, man. But hey,
well, yeah. Well, I think Trump is a sore loser and a miserable winner. Like, he's an abysmal winner. He'll if he wins, he's gonna shove it in your fucking face.
Bro, he's just gonna go and fucking.
He's gonna be like, nigga, I just won, man.
I mean, I don't know if you saw his rally yesterday, but this dude had actually had a video of just straight up, clowning Biden, bro. Like, he's a savage, man. He's a savage.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know.
I think the issue with people with Trump is his mouth. I think if Trump spoke like a politician, people would be so mad at him.
Honestly, but that's kind of why I like him, because he's not a fucking politician.
No, not even that. You know what the hell he's thinking.
Yeah, he's not
a wolf in sheep clothing.
Listen, in my mind, he's not a typical politician. You're not gonna get a politician answer. You're gonna get what, like I said, whatever you think he's thinking.
It's on his mind.
Yeah. Whether that's good, whether that's bad, whether you think he's blunt, whether you think he's an asshole. I mean, question is he doing his job? And if the answer is yes, then all of that should have mattered. And if the answer is no, then
do you think he's gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win?
All right.
I think Trump. I've been seeing the rallies, bro. Biden's rallies be empty.
So all right. That's it. Yeah. No, maybe like 8 people. Now,
I'm being real.
who do I think is gonna win? Who I want to win is Trump. Who do I think is gonna win? Based on the polls right now, even though I don't trust the polls right now because I think they are fake, Biden does have the lead. Yet I do think that during election day, a big red wave is coming. I can't give you an answer, but I do want to say that I believe and I want Trump to win.
Let me say some shit real quick, bro. There was this one post that this lady put on Facebook, my wife seen, that she had a sticker saying that she vote for Trump, and they blew up. I think they set her car on fire. There's a lot of hidden Trump supporters.
That's ignorant.
There is a lot of hidden Trump supporters that will not put a sign because they're scared of the repercussions.
Well, for example,
we're going to see a lot of Trump supporters come out the blue.
For example, I mean, if I, if I put a Trump sign on my doorstep, I may not have kids come and trick or treat at my house because they might think that I'm racist, right? And that's very, very ignorant to say. So for that reason, to his point, there is a lot of Trump supporters that are not actively showing that they're Trump supporters. So hopefully that is the case, and hopefully we win. We win the presidency back.
But if he loses, he has to step the throne. He has to get out. It is what it is. You lost.
If he loses, he has to lose. If he loses, he has to get out. But then again, I mean, I don't know. Democrats lost. He
has to get out peacefully.
Democrats lost 4 years ago and still bitching about it. I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. So, it looks like it might be a very close call, and so let us know what y'all think. Let us know who you think is going to win. But we're going to be live Tuesday, which will probably be tomorrow since this video is going up on Monday.
Yep.
So let us know what you think. Like and subscribe this video, please. All right.
All right, guys.
Laters.
We'll see y'all later. Deuces. Woo!
All right, bye, guys.
blah, 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 blah.